Good evening and welcome. My name is Rob, aka Lantern Noir, and I want to welcome all of you, especially that other pond and all of her audience that she's brought over in that raid. Yes, I did do this is take 2 of our opening because this eventually becomes a podcast, and I do like the idea of it not sounding completely trash when I put it out there on the podcast platforms. So, it's one of those things where I try kind of to make sure that works out. Which, if by the way, if you enjoy hanging out with us tonight and you like the game so far, you can go back through the podcast episodes and catch up on the first several episodes, because we are on episode 5 of Ravenloft 1921, which is it's been quite an adventure, let me tell you. But before I do that, before we do our catch up, I would like to go around the table and do a round of introductions so we can all kind of get to know who's playing tonight. So the standard questions we ask are, who are you playing? And then we usually have some interesting icebreaker about the characters. And I remember what we need something interesting here. We head off for Mother's Day, and then we head off for some other stuff that happened. I'm thinking let's Mother's Day, my family's a gardening day traditionally. So how does that character handle the idea of maintaining a garden? It's a question. We'll see what happens. Andy, are you ready to kick us off?
I can do so.
All right.
All right. I am Andy, or the OuterDork. I am playing Louise Harbrook, our stage magician / warlock. And gardening. He grew up on a farm and fled to New York expressly to not have to be on a farm anymore. So the last thing he wants to do is go back to gardening again.
That works. June, are you all the way back?
Yeah. The USB moved, so the camera decided it didn't want to work for a second.
All right, why don't you go ahead and do your introduction while we still have you then?
Okay. It's only if I move it that it'll decide to unplug. Okay. Hi, my name is June. You can find me nowhere. Because I do not exist. I am playing Agnes Devereaux, our very skeptical, but starting to be less so, rogue. And Agnes, if she were to take care of a garden, would be incredibly methodical about it. She would do all her research on every single plant she is trying to grow, have watering charts, how much, and have them on a rotation of where they get their sunlight and for how long, and then would probably still fail to grow it.
I believe that.
Yeah, she didn't have the key ingredient. Love.
The green thumb.
He doesn't have a green thumb.
No. All right, Kai, you're up.
Hello, interwebs peoples. I am Kaitapon. I am also a streamer of D&Ds, sometimes, mostly. And I am playing Darling Odessa, the group's bodyguard barbarian. And no, we don't do gardens. That was probably Mom's thing, probably Lola's thing. We moved away from the Philippines and pretty much, went to service Agnes's family and, guard them on their adventures rather than stay at home and help the farm. So, but she's actually from Baguio, so everything's too wet there anyway. All the plants drown. It's fine.
As can happen. And Arwen?
Hi, I'm Arwen Atreides, and I am playing, I keep almost saying Chrysanthemum, and I need to stop it. Amelie St. Clair, our debutante monk. And Amelie's, gardening has always been just kind of a thing that the servants take care of. It's a very well kept, very seemly for the neighborhood. And I figure the only thing Amelie had to do with it was occasionally throwing handfuls of just random wildflower seeds out her window just to spite her parents and exert a little bit of control over her life. So random random pop-ups of whatever is seasonal in the garden outside her window, driving her parents and the gardeners a little bit crazy.
That tracks. That tracks.
That tracks.
And for those that are new, yes, our monk-kensei weapon is her parasol. Just if you're not sure how this is going to vibe, that's how it vibes.
It vibes.
Yeah,
It's a vibe.
That's just what
It's a
happens.
We're
It
vibing.
passes
A
the
whole
check.
vibe.
Because why not? That's what we do. My name is Rob, aka Lantern Noir. I am the dungeon master for the game. I run everything else that makes the game happen, and that includes at the top of every week our recap of what has come before. So to that end, kind of here's where we were when we last had everyone together. The extended backstory, our 4 investigators were on their way to a dig in Egypt when their plane crashed somewhere east of Russia, west of Germany, down those mountain lines of Eastern Europe. Where exactly, no one's really sure, because this is 1921. We are very much pre-GPS. But they were able to survive the crash. They took shelter in an abandoned manor house. Wackiness ensued. They escaped from that with their lives and found their way into another hamlet / settlement. Things have not exactly gone great for them. Yes, but not pre-power steering. We established that. Having arrived here, they've had a chance to meet some of the locals. They've met the mayor's children. The mayor has, unfortunately, the burgomaster has unfortunately passed. The cause of the passing was the failure of the heart, inasmuch as it gave as he was helping defend the house against the onslaughts of the minions of the Lord of the Realm, who for some reason was trying to get into the house, or at least convince the daughter of the burgomaster, Ireena, to come out of the house. Should we mention Agnes's particular role in this plot, or should we just forget that happened?
No, let's shame her.
Oh,
Shame.
shame. The one night they had in town, Agnes fell under the sway of the Lord of the Ravenloft and invited him into the burgomaster's mansion, where ooky stuff happened. This has now put Ireena in real danger because, according to legend, anyone that is bit 3 times by a vampire becomes one themselves after dying. And that has created an additional layer of stress. Shame? I'm not really sure. Agnes would have to appreciate the gravity of the situation to feel shame for it. And unlike everyone else in the group, Agnes is the last diehard to go, no, this doesn't work. Science dictates this is not what's really happening to me. For which we applaud her dedication.
I like that she felt shame for being rude more than anything else, at least at first.
Yes.
I feel like that's a very key thing to remember.
Yes, there was a lot more of, oh, that's right, it was rude of me to invite him into somebody else's house. Where the whole party was going,
Several
Missing
hours
the forest
later,
for the
might I
trees
add.
here.
Several hours later. Like, oh wait. My bad. Yeah. So when it's too late. When it's too late.
indeed, when it is too late. But so that's where that covers. The next morning, you had the investigators got organized. They carried the body of the burgomaster to the church cemetery, foregoing the hearse that had been delivered to the house to help carry it across town. This was Ireena's suggestion, as she wanted to have no debt to Strahd Von Zarovich, who did make his appearance at the funeral to pay his respects for a member of the civil service, as he saw the burgomaster. He left with the statement that Ireena should come stay with him at the castle, where she will be infinitely safer. And to prove the point, has left behind a pair of his henchmen to demonstrate how unsafe Ireena is outside of the castle. Which led to some fighting with some wolves, and then we left off as the master of the hounds and I don't remember what the other title was. It had a clever title. Oh, the Hound Mistress were the two. Transformed into some sort of hybrid creature between a man and a wolf. That's actually where we stopped for the night. Do we have any addendums or additions to the minutes as proffered? Hearing none, we pick up where we left off. Bigfoot? Okay.
Sorry, was it?
Let's
I don't
see.
even remember.
Combat. Womp. Which, by the way, if you're here, there's a huge discount code going right now on Streamloots cards, and you can be part of our game by grabbing a pack of cards and playing them when appropriate. They let you give extra actions to the party, throw a healing potion to somebody, including the NPCs. The party loves it when you do that, by the way.
So much fun.
You can actually add minions to the fight. You can take minions out of the fight. It's a lot of chances for you as a viewer to be part of the stream beyond just kibitzing with our players. So, and they're running this huge discount code because there's some other thing coming up, some game they're promoting, which I legit honestly don't know what it is. But it's 42% off, and that only affects your price, doesn't affect the investment the streamers get. So it's a good chance to get in on that. That being said, are we ready for combat?
Yar.
Yarr. Wait, that's my Saturday game. That's a whole different ball of wax.
A woo.
A woo?
Oh, woo!
Okay, we left off, I believe we had started off a new combat round with the monk's action. So how exactly is Miss Amelie St. Clair handling this moment?
So they are very clearly hostile at this point, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
He's a wooing at me.
Can I use those are graves right next to me, right?
Yes.
I'm guessing.
Mhm.
Like raised plots of ground.
Just like, it's freshly filled in, so it's not a
Okay.
huge...
If I wanted to use, could I use my whole action to get there?
I don't think you need to. I think
Okay.
you've got to
Could
move
I
into
use-
40.
'cause
You
it-
can
40,
walk
okay.
right up to any of them.
So I can get, okay. I wasn't sure if those would be obstacles or anything.
No.
Okay. I will get right up close and personal with this guy. Or
Okay.
gal, whichever one that is. And let's do let's see, I have used 2 key points last time, so I have 1 left. Can I do a two-handed attack with my parasol?
Yes.
All right, let's do that.
Absolutely. Just clock him good. Where am I going? There's where I'm going. 22. Totally will hit. Roll some damage.
Awesome. That's the top one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or the bottom. Wait, is it
It's
the
the bigger
D8
one.
or the D? It's the D8. Okay.
It's the bigger one.
Okay.
Okay. A solid blow lands against him as he's forced to take a step back and reconsider what exactly is going on with this thing.
All right. And I think because my if I'm reading this right, because my parasol is my Kinsei weapon, and I made oh wait, no, that's unarmed. Never mind. I made an armed strike. Never mind. We're good. I was looking to see if my agile parry engaged, but that has to be unarmed.
Duly noted. Okay. Good to know for next time.
Yes.
Ireena's up next in the initiative order. She is going to... It's going to get crowded over here. She's going to do her best to try to be a distraction. Nah, she's not. She'll make her attack roll. What the heck? She's not going to miss a chance to get in on the fight.
Yeah, she will.
She's not going to do anything, but she's going to try. However, Now it's time for the werewolf to do something. He just got hit with a staff. He's not cricket with that. So he's going to rake against Amelie with his claws. And then he's going to try to come down on her with his fangs. Okay, so Amelie's going to take 5 damage.
Okay.
And then I'm going to very quietly roll a d20.
Uh-oh.
Oh no!
Oh, no.
Oh no!
I don't like quiet rolls.
Why? Are you worried about something?
I'm always worried about everything.
We have
my,
anxiety in this house.
That's my secret, Rob. I'm always anxious.
Is that how that works? Is that how that works? All right.
I don't know. Ask me at the end of this.
Yeah.
Ask me at the end.
We'll see what happens. How is Luis doing? How is the warlock?
Oh, he's
holding up?
fine. He's great. He's not great. That was a lie. He is, however, not going to charge into this cluster madness.
Scrum. The term is scrum.
Yes, scrum. Now you're bringing me back to work. Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Sorry.
All right, so he's going to come over here, get himself some line of sight, and while moving, he's going to fumble around in his bag of holding and pull out a rusty pistol,
Ooh.
which he will hold in his offhand before casting Eldritch Blast.
Okay.
Sounds like a plan.
Plausible deniability.
Is he aiming it or is he just like holding it in his hand?
He
I
is,
got a gun in my hand.
he is nominally aiming in the vague direction of the group of people battling.
That makes sense. That tracks.
Yeah.
That tracks.
That works.
How's
He also rolled a 22.
22? That's totally going to hit. Roll some damage. Who are you hitting, by the way? The Barzena or Stannis?
Barzeta, because I can't shoot past the other person without giving them cover.
Okay.
Ooh,
Whoa,
I'll take
max
that.
damage. That's a solid roll.
I'm going to resist the urge to shout bang as I do it.
Bang!
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. Let's see here. You know what? She's actually crazy enough to do this. She's going to jump over the fence and come charging right at you.
Well, that's inconvenient.
It is, isn't it though? So she will provoke an attack of opportunity if you wish to use your reaction for both the monk and the barbarian.
That's a reaction. Is that what you said?
Yep. You get one reaction between turns. You can use it here to take a free shot if you want to.
I'll take a free shot.
Okay. Turn.
Oh! Wait, what?
Nice. That's a hit.
Oh, it looks like a 7 for me on my screen. So that's what I was like, and then no, I was wrong. Okay, that's fine. I'll take-
Quarterstaff not so impressive, but the rapier does hit. So roll some damage on that.
4, 6.
Yeah, she can take that.
I forget. Does that add my rage? Am I still raging?
Are you still
I think
raging?
I am.
I think you're raging.
So that's. Did that automatically add my rage?
Nope. What do I have to add for your rage? Another 2?
I believe so.
Fair enough.
+2 to melee damage. Yep.
Plus 2 melee damage. Done. 2 more gets added into the mix. She arrives in front of Luis, and she is going to just light him up, or not.
Light him up, light him up.
He's forced to dodge and weave a great deal, but he's mostly keeping his cool in the process. She, on the other hand, is getting more angry about it. Like a little bit of a hold still gets growled out. I would love to hear how the archaeologist is doing.
No, thanks.
Archaeologist is completely out of her depth and is just kind of locking that all away in a box somewhere in her brain and she's now just in fight mode. So she's going to see that this where this wolf lady has jumped over the fence and is now attacking the lone charlatan.
He's really in trouble.
So she's gonna go up behind her and do a rapier attack.
Okay. That'll
So
hit.
18.
You hit. Oh, there it goes.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's a solid strike. She's going to feel that in the morning.
Yep. And then one sec.
Checking.
Yeah.
Reading. Skim. It's been 2 weeks.
Yeah. Look, I'm looking up my insightful fighting thing. Okay.
Thing.
Rob, did you resend the initiative tracker, or was it back?
I can send it back. I can send it again.
Okay.
I
I
don't
want to
see it.
Since I have it.
Then.
You're right. I didn't. There you go.
Okay.
Nope. That's
All
not
right,
it.
Thank you.
That's not the.
And-
That's not it.
That's not it.
That's not.
I hovered over, but I didn't click.
Yep.
All right. And then can I, as a bonus action, use my other dagger to just kind of like stab on up?
Absolutely.
Lovely.
There you guys go. Sorry about that.
Thank you.
Whee.
Offhand dagger connects. Roll some damage.
Woo.
The good news is they're not hard to hit.
That's good.
They are, however,
Thank
going to be hard to drop.
Yeah. So I don't know if sneak attack counted for that one, but it's.
I believe. Sneak
I don't know
attack
if sneak-
is once per turn.
Woo.
get
Okay,
to
so then
apply
it's
it.
5 piercing.
So yeah, but that's still 5 damage. That's enough to kind of shake her up some more.
Mm-hmm. Poke. And that'll be the
Poke
end of my
indeed.
turn.
Poke indeed.
And now she's flanked. So
She is flanked, absolutely. And how is Darlene doing?
You know, worrisome.
That's kind of like her default state.
Yeah.
Put that thought out there.
We're the bodyguard with constant anxiety.
Because the body you're supposed to be guarding is off fighting a werewolf.
Yeah, pretty much. Did we? Oh yeah, we did resend the.
Yep.
Take that real quick.
Yeah. Marzena is currently bloodied, whereas Stannis is simply hurt. Amelie is at 2 hit points. And is the only person that seems injured.
Okay, well I can't leave Amelie then. Let's see here. Okay, so we're gonna do the. I want this. Oh, clear all. It was like my roll was still there. Oh shoot! You know what? I forgot when I hit the attack of opportunity. I had Divine Fury as well.
Oops.
But I will do that to the jerk in front of me, or I guess to the left of me. With on guard. Please hit. You jerk.
That is a miss.
There's a miss. I think that I can only. I missed.
But at least you made an attack. Your rage is
Yeah.
still going.
Yeah.
You've got that going for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna quietly I missed.
Well, think of
I'm
it this way.
discouraged.
It's not so much you missed as he just was able to handle it. You have a few good jabs that he sort of pushed out of the way because he kind of knows what he's doing. And he's
Yes.
big with claws and fangs.
It's fair. Yeah.
So the monk's starting to kind of feel it.
Yeah. Yeah, I really should get in the habit of checking my hit points before we start. Or get better at tracking on D&D Beyond, because I had nothing in D&D Beyond. Okay.
That's okay.
I'm
I keep track of
going
it.
to. Yeah, but I didn't realize where I was, and I pulled it, I went, oh, okay. I might have done something a little bit differently, but that's okay. So I'm gonna look at the map. I'm gonna pull back.
Do you have a trick to help you do that? Because that will provoke an attack from him.
That'll provoke an opportunity attack. Okay, never mind.
He's got you where he wants you.
Do I have a trick for that?
Says the monk.
I can spend a key point. Yeah, I can spend a key point to take disengage as a would disengage get me out of his opportunity attack range?
Okay. That's as a bonus action, so you could still make an attack.
Yes.
And then pop Step of the Wind, and you double your jump distance.
This is true. Okay, so
that presents all kinds of opportunities.
All kinds of possibilities. Okay, so I think I'm gonna make an unarmed strike so that I can use my agile parry and get that +2 to my AC. Okay.
Fair.
Yeah. I'm gonna make an unarmed strike with my action.
Okay.
I'm a little distracted. I'm feeling it, and I'm distracted.
That's legit.
And I will spend a key point. Pop that. Oops. New class, looking at all the things. Okay.
And that'll let you make the disengage, which means you do not provoke attacks when you move.
Yep, and I will move backward.
Do you want to move backwards, or do you want to leap up onto the roof of the church?
Oh, let's do that. That's way cooler. I didn't even think of that. Okay.
You've doubled your distance. You probably could jump up there pretty easily.
Okay, I don't know how to, because it's covered. I don't know how to indicate that.
I'm going to sort of tuck you like right about there. It's how we know you're on the roof at that edge.
Okay, I'm on the roof, and I have a +2 to my AC until the end of my next turn. I'll pop open my parasol into defensive position.
If that works for you. Let's see. Ireena's going to do her part slowly but steadily. That's this guy. Okay. And then he'll do his. He's lost his preferred target, so that only leaves him. Oops. Ought not have done that. Odessa is his new target.
I'm okay with this. She has more hit points.
Not right now.
So, Claw. Well, what do you have your hit points at?
12.
I was gonna say you have more than 2. You're doing
hit a lot
than me.
I remember those wolves that they were a thing.
Yeah. How did that
before I raged because I waited. We had this discussion.
Yeah.
If you have more than 2, you're a better target. You're a safer target than I am.
I did it dumb.
It is what it is.
On the way up as I jump, I'm just gonna pat her on the shoulder. You got this. And poof, up on the roof.
Okay, so that did that, and then this is gonna do that, and you come in at that, and you are currently safe. He claws and snaps his fangs at you, and you're able to kind of shove him back and keep him at bay with your blade. So you're in not bad, terrible shape. Luis.
There's an angry werewolf in my face.
There is an angry werewolf in your face, and she's trying to eat your face.
Yes, I'm not a big fan of that.
It's a sweet face.
So I'm engaged, so my Eldritch Blast is
Congratulations.
significantly less effective.
Oh, that's
Disadvantage.
Yes. So I will instead Word of Radiance. DC 13 con save, please.
DC 13 con save.
Made a bad joke and it went over his head.
I was looking at my character sheet, sorry.
He said I'm engaged, and I was like, congratulations.
I gave you a sweet face, so.
It's a bit of a claw gun wedding.
Oh no.
Aw.
Unfortunately, she makes her save.
Alas. I assume that's nothing on a save. Yeah.
Such as the nature of a
All right.
cantrip.
Yes, precisely.
The good news is the more ouchy person is the one directly behind her.
Yeah.
And what she's going to do is she is instead going to... Yeah. Okay, I need Agnes to roll me a strength check.
All right, give me 1 second. Strength check. This will go great.
Trust me, picks
Oh.
Okay, not bad. You kept your feet under you as she basically grabs you by claws in with one hand to grab your belt and push you to the ground. And you sort of shift your weight and kind of just push back up out of it. She snarls at you.
Nicely done.
And then eats your face.
Belt is expensive.
Nope, she doesn't. She was apparently so distracted by her failure to push you to the ground that she missed your face.
This is expensive.
This face was expensive.
My belt's expensive. This face is expensive. You did not pay the toll.
So how do you respond to that?
I stab.
Oh, then we'll respond.
What else am I gonna do?
That's fair. That's fair.
17 hit.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Whee.
Jeez. This rogue is kind of a headache. That's 17 damage.
All right. And then if she's still standing, I'm going to use my wait a minute, since she's flanked, we get advantage, don't we?
Optional
Yep.
rule I don't use.
Oh, never mind. Never mind then. Okay.
I have had that conversation a few minutes ago. It really unbalances a lot. Plus, you don't want me to have advantage by flanking you.
I mean, it is Curse of
This is
Strahd.
And it's hard.
We don't
enough
have a
as,
healer.
and it's
That's
hard enough
true.
as it is.
That's true. Okay. If she's still standing, I'm going to attack with my dagger on my offhand.
Fair enough.
I don't think that hits.
That does not.
Okay.
She bats that away and continues to snap and snarl and growl and be a
Okay.
general nuisance. Darling.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll try again. Dear God, please. Oh, that's nice.
There we go.
Good dice.
Good dice.
Happy dice.
Woo.
That's a 4 plus this is a 6. And then. Oh! That's 11.
That is significant.
I did things.
Yeah. You launch in with your dagger?
Wait, did I roll dagger? I did. I'm dumb. I'm at my rapier.
Let's see here. The difference between the two. Just roll the damage on the rapier. You have the same bonus to hit, so we'll see if that changes that.
It's
Nope.
the same.
Did not matter. Did not matter.
Dice are like, nope. My decision
No, the
is
dice
final.
are like, no, I meant what I meant. Oh my god, so funny.
You get what you get.
Did I stutter? Jeez.
So,
Did I clack clack?
so our monk is on the roof of the church looking down and then does what?
I will pitch a dart because I have darts. I'm gonna pitch a dart at the one closest to me.
Okay.
Yeah, that one right there. Let's see.
Fair move.
Does an 11 hit?
11 will hit.
Awesome. That's... And then under my Kensei features, it says, under Kensei's shot, you can use a bonus action on your turn to make ranged attacks with the Kensei weapon and deal an extra 1d4 damage of that weapon's type until the end of the current turn. So does that mean that I can make another ranged attack?
That sounds like it's something you would do with your Kensei weapon.
Right. Well, I have a melee Kensei weapon and a ranged Kensei weapon.
Oh, and what's your ranged Kensei weapon?
My darts, because that's all I have.
'Cause
That's all I have.
Work with what you got.
Oh,
Yep.
wait, then yes.
Okay, we'll do another one.
Bonus action on your turn to make ranged attacks with your Kensei weapon.
Another one.
Another one.
Jeez, fair enough.
One good dart deserves another. So, and then this one gets 2 damage rolls.
An extra D4, yeah.
An extra. Okay, so just a d4.
No, it's the.
Okay.
Uh,
So is it regular
ranged attacks
damage
with a
plus
Kensei weapon deal an additional D4. So
Okay,
it's base
so
damage plus
my-
1d4.
plus 1d4? Okay,
Yep.
so that's a 7 for the
Jeez.
base damage plus 1d4. A 1.
Monks are overpowered.
There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez, criminies.
I have to kill things fast or I'll die.
Glass cannon.
I think
Pretty
it's more
much.
of you have to kill things faster. Everyone will die.
Yeah. Well, I'm almost there, so I'm just like crouched. I'm crouched like on my knee on the rooftop, just pitching darts.
Daggers come flying down. Ireena, because she gets her chance to do a thing. Then we come to the werewolf. He's got his chance to do a thing. He's not having any fun with what's happening. So he's going to use his action to make a couple of attacks on Darlene. And no appreciable effect.
Oh.
So how's Luis doing?
Second verse, same as the first.
Doink.
Yeah, give me another DC 13 strength save.
Strength save?
Not strength, con. Sorry,
Con save?
looking at the
Okay.
wrong thing.
Yeah, go ahead and roll your damage.
Yep, brightly lit.
She is brightly
Get
lit.
lit.
She is
3
lit.
radiant damage.
There we go. We take that R. We take that token off the board. We put that token on the board.
I'm confused.
Bink.
When they revert, I think they still have their human health.
I was supposed to like put a little X over it.
Oh,
Oh.
the X went under it.
I
Yeah.
see that now.
Mm-hmm.
Here, I'll just do whoop, there. As she drops to the ground and reverts back to her human form when she does.
Hooray!
Hooray.
Yay!
What is Agnes doing?
Well, she just saw a werewolf glow and then die.
And then turn back into a person.
And then turned back into a person. Yeah.
We're poking it away.
Yep.
We're gonna make a whole new box just for that.
That's a whole new sarcophagus to never be opened again.
She said sarcophagus.
Well, that's absolutely how Agnes's brain is. It's just stacks of sarcophagi with
Yeah,
different things.
they're all lined up like against a wall
with labels
with labels that
and an index.
all say "Do not open."
This one says, "Do not open from Barovia. Do not open from Barovia. Do not open from Barovia."
Yeah.
Do not open from creepy house.
She has a whole section for Barovia sarcophagi to not open.
Mm-hmm.
So,
All right. Well, so what she's gonna do? She's gonna probably squirrel that away for now, and then probably still notice that this one's still alive. So she's gonna sneak her way around to here. And we're gonna stabby stab because rogue do what rogue do best.
Okay.
So does a 23 hit?
It does. There comes a pile of burst damage.
Okay. Yeah, not the hardest hit.
Not the hardest hit.
All right. Okay. What? Okay. And if that didn't take him down, she's gonna go do a second attack with her dagger.
Okay.
Does a 22 hit?
Yep.
Okay. Then that's 6 damage.
Wow.
Dagger did more.
And that's that.
Yay.
He also, as you like slice in with the rapier, you come around with the dagger, and just he's not looking as you drop it right into his heart. He howls and collapses on you in his full hybrid form, and you can feel the body mass dropping as he reverts back into his human shape and slumps at your feet with your dagger still wedged tightly in the center of his chest.
Can I take the dagger out as he's sliding down?
Sure.
Yay.
If you have that level of wherewithal.
Well, it's probably still in my hand, so it just kind of he just slides off it.
And that clears the board of combat.
I'm just gonna like
We're alive.
roll over onto my back on the roof and be like, ugh.
Where did Darling go?
Right next to you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Where did Miss St. Clair go?
Oh, she's over there.
I'm just gonna like wave my hand over the roof ledge.
Oh.
I'm good. Thanks for asking.
Oh, good. I'm glad you didn't run away.
As if. And I'll kind of roll over. Can I get down
Yeah. You can
without mishap? Okay,
swing your feet over
I'll
and
find-
shimmy on down, drop from your hands.
there we go.
Superhero landing.
Nah, it's a shaky landing. I'm at 2 hit
I was
points.
gonna say I don't think she can handle that right now.
Yeah, you have to be careful because you are far enough down. You could twist your ankle on impact.
Yeah, no, I'll go down very slowly and carefully. I'm not rolling and dropping anything. I'm availing myself of whatever handholds are available.
Which is good.
Not the least eventful funeral I've ever been at.
Ireena will look at you like, what?
I'm also going to give you the what face.
You had to be there.
I didn't want to.
Ireena's taking the
Oh.
time to wipe off her blade before she resheaths it. And you can actually see that she has a certain amount of like savvy with what she's supposed to do. Like she knows how to clean it, how to store it back and reset it against her hip. So she wasn't just wearing it for show. She's had a chance to learn how to fight with it. As evidenced by her fighting with it.
Unlike her brother, who cowered in the background.
Mm-hmm. Is he still here?
Yeah, he's
He's
still there.
apparently
Yeah,
still
there
here.
he is. Okay, there he is.
Yeah, he and the priest have come over to check on all of you.
Okay.
The father is looking a little bit ragged and a little bit shaken by the experience himself.
So are shapeshifters common in Lord Strahd's employ?
The Lord Strahd Lord
got
Von
this.
Zarovich has minions of all types that follow his command. I had no idea that the Houndmaster was a were creature. Terribly sorry I didn't
It's right
warn you.
there.
Yeah, I saw.
I think I could use a cup of tea or something a little stronger if you have anything.
Alcohol.
You don't start by asking for alcohol. Where are your
Oh, yes,
manners?
you do.
You start by asking for a cup of tea, and then they offer you something stronger, and you say, yes, please.
It's the polite thing to do. You must start with pleasantries.
Oh, like inviting a stranger into somebody's house?
I'll admit I was in the wrong there.
Well, that's a start, I suppose.
I will admit when I've made an error in social niceties.
Well, we should go into the church. It would be a bit safer, I think, if we take the time to sit and let you collect yourselves after that. That was quite the ordeal. I'm rather impressed that you put so much on the line for our little church here.
Our pleasure.
Anytime.
Well, it would look.
But
Be
not
looked up-
anytime soon, please.
It would be looked upon poorly if we were to let a church be destroyed. If we had the ability to prevent it.
Yeah, we'll go with that. So, into the church then.
Yes.
Real quick, are darts recoverable?
Yes.
Okay. I would like to recover 2, I think I threw.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
You absolutely can.
After recovering them, I will put my gloves back on.
And actually, let me. Bing. Bonk. Boom. There's the church. And we'll move the priest in. Ismark will slip in, as will everybody else, I assume. Actually, Ireena's going to go stand in that corner to watch what y'all do. The church is in absolute disarray, having not had anyone worshiping at it for some time. In fact, according to the box text, the chapel is in shambles with overturned and broken pews littering the dusty floor. Dozens of candles mounted in candlesticks and candelabras light every dusty corner in a fervent attempt to rid the chapel of shadows. At the far end of the church sits a claw-scarred altar. Next to it, a long, thick rope stretches up to the bell tower.
Well, this is quaint.
Yes,
You've had some trouble.
it's been a bit. I think though. Let me find you something to drink, and then we shall see you on your way. Surely you would want to return to the mansion, post haste.
I don't know that the mansion is the safest place to go, but we'll want to.
Perhaps the
return
blood
somewhere.
on the vine then. Blood of the Vine Tavern will be a safer place to be then. I'll just be a moment. And he putters down and around through one of the doors.
What do we think about the tavern?
I could use some alcohol.
Less attacked than this church appears to have been. Or the house.
Is it?
That's not a high bar to
But is it-
pass.
Well, yeah. Is it more or less likely to be attacked than the house?
Statistically, one has been 100% attacked, and someone invited Lord Von Zarovich Strahd in, and one we don't know.
Yeah. It's the we don't know that gives me pause, but
But don't know versus definitely yes.
Why don't we ask Ireena and Ismark what they think about that.
Oh, I just figured they were right there. Sure,
Mhm.
They
that
are
works.
actually. They're watching you talk.
Oh,
I
okay.
say, do they chime in with any useful tidbits?
Yeah.
I mean, we're discussing our like where the safest place for us to go is. This would be a
Yeah.
good
Good time to chime in.
time to
Um,
chime in.
Ireena will quickly vocalize she's fairly confident that the house is not a good idea. Ismark, on the other hand, will counter with the tavern's not a good idea.
Okay.
And
Do we have a option that isn't bad?
Ireena considers, well, maybe we can stay here a bit longer. It's been some time since I've left the house. Surely the church should be a safe place for us.
I'm gonna look around and pointedly
This
at the
church?
claw marks.
To which the priest will come shuffling out. He has a little wooden tray that has a couple of snifters of brandy on it. So there hasn't been time to make a proper tea, but I did find something with a bit of kick to it. Perhaps that will see you on your way then. Please take, and then the door is here. And it's a short walk back into town.
You seem to be in something of a hurry to have us on our way. Is something wrong?
Absolutely not. I would hate for you to be here if there were another attack. Yes.
I think we've proven that we can handle ourselves in an attack. Although I am not keen on facing another one.
He glances at the debutante who's holding herself against the wall. Yes, obviously, but there's still. I mean, I have bodies to inter, and there's things that I should be taking care of.
He was looking at me.
Yeah, the one that's at 2 hit points.
Oh.
Well, time to toss one back. Those of you who are harmed.
Yeah, I'll come forward and I'll take one.
Yeah, it's not that great. It's
Eh.
actually way more water than anything else, but it's something that kind of just at least get something into your system, give you a little bit of pep back.
If one were to quantify that little bit of pep, what would that look like?
You'll be ready for a short rest when you get to it.
Okay.
Yes.
We suddenly find ourselves in need of a safe place to stay. The manor has been compromised. Can you offer any suggestions?
Compromised? What happened? We worked so hard to put up the wards. I worked with Ireena and Ismark's father to enchant it against attack. The only way possibly it could have been breached is if someone had invited Von Zarovich himself into it.
Pointed stare.
I'm picturing everyone just staring at me.
Yep.
So be
Just
like,
like head tilt.
I'm going to stare very pointedly into my glass
Oh.
with a very judgmental look on my face,
I'm trying to decide how Agnes is going to react.
but not directed at Agnes.
Well, yes. You know what you might consider? Well, first, you should be moving, we should be moving you towards your destination. So if you'd step this way. But I'm thinking, and he's talking over his shoulder as he goes to the main doors of the church.
Is the church not warded?
Tragically, no. There were some issues therein. But
Looks at the scarred altar. Issues like?
the enchantments, the rituals, the prayers just did not seem to take as one would hope. They were early attempts. I had a chance to study some of the clerical texts a bit more in depth when I went to support the burgomaster at his house. And again, I believe we had done a better job of evoking the Morning Lord and his angels at that location.
Fair enough.
Ireena will politely follow.
All right. If she's leaving, I guess we will too.
No, I
Can I
would.
make an insight check on this guy? Because, like, I'm in a church, but the mansion is not a church. You feel me? Okay. Why was holy magic more powerful in a place that's not a church?
All right, roll insight.
Yeah.
It was a little sketch.
Yeah. What do I get with an 18?
Yeah, he's lying about something.
Okay. I'm going to turn to Darling and say, he's definitely lying about something. How could if religious theory states that a holy place has more holy magic, why would a random mansion have more holy magics or be more receptacle to holy magics than a holy building itself with an effigy to the god?
Are there any doors or windows in these blacked out areas?
Yes. There are. Yeah, let me double check to make sure I know what I'm looking at. Yeah.
I'll
you're
just
actually...
say sometimes other places need it more.
So, door, and door. So you're walking past 4 doors on your way out.
As I'm coming, I'm kind of bringing up the rear. I'm going to try and make eye contact with Luis, and I'm just going to like try this door handle, this first one that I'm coming up to right here.
Okay. I have to remember to shrink you guys a little bit because we lose the walls around your tokens. Are you being surreptitious about it, or are you just turning the handle and trying to go in?
I'll be surreptitious about it.
Okay. Try to be all slick like.
Well, okay, it depends. Like, is he still in the room where he might hear, or is he like out the door?
He's out the door, like, kind of waving you towards the exit.
If he's not looking directly at me, I'll just try the door.
I'm gonna try this.
I'm not gonna slam into it, swing it open, but I'll try the handle and see if I can get like a quick peek inside.
The door handle is locked, but not unbreakable.
Yeah. Can I try this one? Just also trying to be kind of sneaky about it.
Yeah, that one actually is unlocked. He just came out of that.
Hmm. Can I do a quick peek inside that one?
Duly noted. Blink. You push open the door and find yourself looking in on a a modestly apportioned office. An old desk and chair stand against the south wall, wooden holy symbols mounted above them. There's a 10-foot long iron rod attached to the north wall, suggesting a tapestry once hung there.
Can I see, are there papers on the desk?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to turn to Darling and say, cover me, won't you? And I'm going to go inside.
Oh, boy. Yeah, I'll stay by the door.
Yeah. The pastor will look in. Is everything all right?
Yeah, we're just, sluggish.
I'm going to head out and engage the father in some brief conversation about the history of the church. And if he can tell us any more about these recent attacks or what has caused the clear dilapidation of his otherwise fine religious edifice.
Do me a quick favor. Roll me up for something. What do you want to roll?
Performance would be my ideal.
Performance sounds good.
Kind of my shtick.
Jeez.
24.
Yeah, he's more interested in your theories than anything else. He's like, you've got him. He's like, okay, yeah. All right, we can go with that. Yeah. Well, that's interesting. Really? I had no idea. And Ireena is going to park herself right there and kind of half block the hallway. What's Amelie doing?
So while they're talking, I'm kind of like limping my way. I'm milking it a little bit. I'm limping my way down the hall with my hand kind of like on the wall for support. And then as I come up, as I kind of am in front of that door, can I like wedge my parasol in by the door handle and just kind of like trip and fall and see if I can like crack the
Use your parasol to crowbar the door open. Is that
I'm
what
not
I'm
gonna
hearing?
like I'm not gonna like throw myself into it, but if I can like, oh shoot.
Give me a quick strength check.
Okay.
The old subtle crowbarring.
It's not gonna be much, but we'll see.
You got this.
We believe in you.
You've all kind of
I believe.
No.
That door's going to require an actual effort to throw it open.
Okay.
At this point. I need Darling to give me a perception check. Meanwhile, while she's rolling that, June, tell me about what Agnes is up to as she's rifling around in that office.
So Agnes is looking through these papers, mostly kind of actually looking for a personal journal or something that is written by him that could explain why he's acting so shifty. And like inspecting the desk for like secret drawers or if any are locked.
There are no. The good news is that there's nothing terribly untoward to find. And as much as it would be neat to find a diary here, you unfortunately have only recovered a hymn book, a treaty, a nonfiction titled "The Blade of Truth: The Uses of Logic in the War Against Diabolist Heresies, as Fought by the Olmist Inquisition." And as you flip through it, it appears to be a collection of logic exercises.
She's pocketing that one.
Well, that's rude.
She's gonna need it.
Something that can stay grounded in rational
Yeah.
thought.
Yeah. All right. What is this?
Bookcase of just random other books, and it's mostly empty. The books that remain are essays and discussions about the church and scripture and other things.
Okay. She's going to replace the book that she took with another one that was from the bookshelf.
Okay.
As
one does.
Yeah, to kind of gaslight him into thinking he was reading something else, you know?
Fair. Meanwhile, is Emily going to make another stab at cracking that door open?
I'm gonna
He is
peek out
well distracted.
Okay, then sure, I'll take another crack at it.
All right, roll with that strength again.
Sorry, I missed what I got with that 21.
No, you missed nothing. I was just waiting for you to feel ready for it.
Oh no. Okay.
You hear something calling from the door you're standing next to. Please, I'm hungry.
Oh.
Please, so hungry.
It's gonna like tap, like reach her hand back into the doorway where Agnes is and be like, "Oi, oi."
She will come where summoned because she didn't find anything but the logic book. What?
She's gonna gesture to the other door.
That door. All right. I'm going to be like, push her forward and to like continue to cover me. Like just gesture. And then I would try and open this door, but we're going to do Amelie's thing first.
That's fair. Amelie finds herself standing in a bedroom. In particular, that's not the right one. There it is. Yeah. It looks like it hasn't been entered in some time. The bed is untouched.
Okay, nothing of note.
More interestingly, well, no, I'll give it to you for free. More interesting is the fact that the bed is not slept in for some time. There's like a layer of dust on it.
Interesting. Okay, I'll pull the door shut as best I can, like it was,
Okay.
and then I'll. Did I see Darling react or act funky around the door? Did I see her like react to something behind the door?
More unusual than usual.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely something going on.
I'm
Okay,
panicking quietly.
I'm gonna put my ear up to this door just to see if I can hear anything behind it.
As you kind of creep up and start leaning against it. Your door has nothing of interest. Darling goes to try the handle on the door she's at, and it's locked. At this point...
You mean Agnes?
Oh, Agnes goes to try it, yeah. At this point, the priest goes, excuse me, having been distracted until now, but now is starting to catch on that you are pushing your way into locked rooms.
What's the play? What's the play?
Thank you
Darling
for
is like,
your time. Time for us to head to the inn,
Yeah.
get a drink, maybe take a,
so
catch our breath.
Hungry.
Yep, time to go. Off we go. Away we go.
Darling's just standing there trying to like bulk up so that she can like see what's happening behind her.
Agnes was pretending to be listening to what Louise was saying. Completely
in her
glazed over
head,
eyes. Heard nothing.
Amelie's going to hear, maybe we should recover before experimenting with other issues.
I will come up behind Ireena and just kind of like not push her, but just kind of like, yeah, let's go.
She does let's go, but Darling is gonna grab Amelie real quick and put her behind her so that she can hear what's coming through the door.
Agnes is going
Just
to
so
make a
that we're all
little
on
room
the
for
same
her.
page.
Yeah, Agnes is going to make a little room for her so she can get there. / switch places with her. We're going to switch.
Okay.
Please, it's been so long. I need to eat.
Oh.
Darling just looks back at her like,
Lisa's now walking down the hill at a brisk pace.
Yeah.
The priest is going to wait till everyone's exited the building before he starts to walk with you.
Yeah, I'll exit the building. I'll take note and exit the building.
that person's gonna die. We just let him starve.
Yep. He'll be fine. He's lasted this long.
Damn, dude!
Are there any windows on that side of like that on the outside of that where that room would be?
There is a dirt-covered window right here, but the room is dark within.
Okay, fair enough.
As you glance back, the priest, you might consider Valaki. It's up over the mountain. You should be able to find some safety there. It's a walled village. It's declared its independence until recently. It's a bit of a thorn in the Lord's side that they'll pay taxes, but they don't recognize his authority. Their own mayor sees to their needs.
Sounds like a good place to be. We'll take that under advisement.
Sounds
Thank you
like an
ever
option.
so much.
And Ireena goes, I think that we might find something safe there. Safer than here, I suppose.
Worth a shot.
Should we take a moment to collect ourselves at the inn at least?
Yes,
Oh,
I think that
yes.
would be a
I
good
mean,
idea.
it is daytime. I don't
Yes.
suppose they'll be attacking in the middle of the day again.
I was going to say,
Again. What time of day is it about?
About 11ish.
Yeah, I think we have time to take a short rest.
Yeah, it's an hour of resting and collecting yourselves.
Get some lunch.
Let's do that.
You could.
That poor guy didn't get to have lunch.
You know what? Do you want to go back and open the door?
No, I was gonna kick it open.
Do you want to kick it open?
I mean, Luis will eventually figure out if no one's following.
I don't know if I want to do that with 12.
He'll make it to the inn before he does, but he will notice.
Walking into the inn.
Hang on.
Well, it's not very far to walk into town. You can always loop back if you want to. As you start down the road towards the inn, which is the same when you head out, you look down one of the side streets and you see an old woman pushing a cart. And as you kind of continue to walk, you can catch where she pushes up next to a door, and then she goes over and knocks at it. And then she has some words with the occupants, and then goes back to her cart and starts walking along a little bit further. If you slow your stride enough, you'll see that she's going door to door and knocking.
Clearly some sort of door-to-door salesperson.
Can we see what's on her cart?
Not from here.
I'm a detour a little bit. I'm gonna try and like at least detour a little bit to the point where I can see what's on the cart.
Okay.
I'm going to stay at the point where Darling veered off, and I'm just going to kind of like lean up against a wall.
You can do that. As you start to make your way to get a peek at what's going on, is everyone else following along, or are you all just leaving these two to investigate?
So Luis is in front. So like if you don't let him know that you are stopping, he will not notice.
1 second.
I'm gonna stop and wait for her to make sure she doesn't do something stupid.
Oh
Luis
no! I
turns
would
around, noticing, Amelie is barely on her feet.
I'm not going with Darling. I just like where she stops and goes off to the side and just kind of stand there and lean against the nearest wall, like
Yeah, Darling, maybe we explore later.
Wait! I just want to see what's on the cart.
I'm sure she'll be
Okay.
selling later. You can look then.
Never get to do what I want.
Fair enough. As you
You're
kind
doing
of
the
like
thing. Go ahead and finish
call that
doing.
back over your shoulder, and start to move down, the old woman kind of twists her head suddenly, and then she cracks this wide grin, and you can see, there's these spots where there were teeth. And she says, "On my cart, dearie?"
Uh-huh.
Oh, and she turns around, and this time she picks the cart up from behind and starts to waddle towards you.
She's waddling.
And she waddled away.
No, there are no grapes. Just to be clear.
Oh, is it a lemonade stand?
Stop.
She comes a few more steps towards you, and then she puts the cart down, and she turns around and she pulls up a canvas top, and she pulls out a pie. The most precious pies you can find in the valley, made entirely with love. Interest you in one?
Love and
Oh, the finest of fruits that can be found?
you guys hungry?
Can I make an insight check on like just the lady, like the vibe of this lady? Does she look?
She looked like the wicked
Clean,
queen of the
skimpy.
like of Snow White, where she's
know.
like, "Would you like an apple?"
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I'm gonna ask her what kind of fruits.
Oh, sometimes we've been known to use sweet potatoes when we're in a bit of a bind. There are some apples, and sometimes if we negotiate well, we can get some good grapes and create a nice plum pie.
very sus of everything now.
Just you
A
look like-
grape pie?
you look like you've come across quite a scrap or two. I can see that your clothes will need mending in a bit. You'll want to see to that. Be unladylike to be about showing that much of your arm.
Yes. Oh,
I-
this clumsy one just fell down the hill.
Oh dear. You're saying she fell down the stairs? And immediately she
Yes.
turns and shoots this angry look at Luis.
Nothing to do with it. Wasn't even there.
Oh man.
Just wanted to go to the inn.
Trigger warning,
So bad.
domestic abuse.
We're just
Oh yeah,
we're going
this is
to
Curse
go
of
get
Strahd.
her.
Gothic horror. Trigger warning is just like the whole thing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you were saying?
We're going to be bringing her to get cleaned up.
Oh, I would feel terrible about your. And she kind of like scowls. Accident. I think, I believe charity is in order. Why don't you take one of my pies as a gift, my dear?
Oh,
I'm gonna look at.
thank you.
I'm gonna look at Amelie and Darling and be like,
I make
whatever.
an insight check.
Insight check the pie later.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to investigate the pie later.
I
No, insight check on the lady.
sure you can roll it.
Yeah, I'm not doing so hot, you guys.
She reminds you of your grandmother, or your grandmother's cook, more particularly.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Minus a few teeth.
No, not really.
Yeah, the teeth count's probably comparable.
Hmm.
I'm just gonna kind of shrug, like, eh.
She holds the pie out to Amelie.
Oh, to me?
Yeah, so go ahead, take it. A gift, a gift. I'm quite happy to share with people I don't recognize.
I'll take it.
And what is your name, dearie?
You can call me Miss St. Clair.
Oh, yes, the St. Clairs. Yes. Heard of you we have around.
Oh, really? Only good things, I hope.
Of course.
Can I do an insight check on the St. Clair thing?
Sure.
Thank you.
That is my name, right? Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Checking character sheet.
Yeah.
Checking weight, yes.
Yeah,
Like, what-
she was totally BSing there. She's probably never heard the name before. She was being polite.
Mhm.
Oh,
I have a very, very thin veneer of polite up right now. It's polite bordering on get the heck out of my face so I can lay
Yeah.
down.
I'm gonna take
did
the
go to
pie
her.
from I'm gonna take the pie from Amelie. I'm like, I'll carry this. Let's get you taken care of. And start guiding her away.
Good luck, my dearies. Do have a good rest. You need to put your feet up.
Much obliged.
thank
for your
you.
You are
kindness.
the only you the world gets. Take care of that you. You never know when you will be useful to someone. Turns around, grabs her cart, and starts walking along.
Sus.
I'm gonna
Why
try
do
to-
none of this.
I'm gonna whisper to Amelie. Is like, that wasn't not an ominous statement at all.
No, not a bit of it.
You wouldn't mind
Gonna
if I threw
sniff
this
the pie. Gonna sniff the pie and see if it smells like a charm spell.
Yeah, I'm gonna just say to Amelie, would you mind terribly if I just threw this out when we got to the inn?
Not a bit.
Great.
So sus. That was so sus. She had
Like,
to
wave at the
lock
lady.
it.
Like wave at the lady. She's walking down the street. Yeah, just pitch it out in the garbage heap, hon.
Hmm.
Walking away.
Just stab it a bunch of times, pretend it got eaten.
It has an incredibly pleasant, fragrant smell.
Oh.
Concerned. Still concerned. Over concerned.
Like very well made. The pie, as you touch it to like stab it, the pie crust just flakes at just the slightest touch, but not so much that it's powdery, but like that perfect smooth pastry bake. You're not sure. You might be wrong, but you almost feel like if you put your hand directly under it, the center is still slightly warm.
That's kind of what I'm afraid of.
Nothing worse than delicious pie.
Right.
Mhm.
Nothing more scary than a freshly baked pie. All right, let's keep going.
Nothing more suspicious than a freshly baked pie in such a weird town.
And a cackly old lady.
That's fair. That's fair. And as you make your way
It's
around
bad
the
in social
corner,
situations.
you hear her knock at the next door as she reaches. And you can almost hear her voice in the wind. Pies for your family? Very reasonable rates. You make your way. Go ahead.
I was going to say, so we have finished our pie detour.
And you walk the
Luis
block
is
and a
now
half to
sort
the
of
end.
like,
Mhm.
Luis has now given up on leading and is now in the back, like ushering the ladies forwards.
Fair enough. You reach the Blood of the Vine Tavern, or the Blood on the Vine. It's hard to see exactly what it is in its current state. And you find it occupied only with the barkeep now.
Okay, I'm gonna go up to her with
For
the pie.
everyone?
The old gentleman, yes. He is still there. Let's see here. Let me get the right page in front of me. And there it is. Okay. And Ireena will come in with you. Go ahead.
I'm gonna go up to the barkeep with the pie and say, "Excuse me, is there somewhere I can dispose of this?"
He kind of glances at it. I can trade for that.
Lovely.
And he pulls a bottle of wine out from under the bar and sets it on. Pulls out sets of glasses. Good night, honey. And then takes the pie and tucks it back under the bar.
I'm gonna bring the wine back to our group. Be like, I think this will do you much more good than a pie will. And I'm gonna hand the whole bottle to Amelie.
I'll share it with Darling.
Oh, thank God.
Only Darling.
Darling's doing a lot. Well, okay. Who else? So, okay. Who else? Would anybody else benefit from it?
Everyone will equally benefit from a short rest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll take like the first swig and then pass it around.
Shooting it straight from the bottle.
I don't care at this point.
Fair enough. Go ahead and pop your short rest if you want to.
Okay.
Which for some of us is awesome because you get all of your key points back.
Yeah.
Actually, if I'm not mistaken, doesn't Luis get all of his spell slots back too?
He does indeed. Why do you think he was like, can we go take a short rest before we do anything weird?
That's fair. That's fair.
I hit dice 1d8 plus 1.
Hey, why didn't it roll?
You actually have to. Okay, so with D&D Beyond, when you take a short rest, you check off how many you want to use.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have to click the box where it shows the dice roll. Then you click take short rest to finish it. Because when you click
Wait.
What? So if you hit short rest, it brings up a window. Then you check how many boxes you want to, how many hit dice you want to use.
Uh-huh.
Then I think if you click the box where it says 1d12, 2d12, whatever, that will actually make the dice roll. Not the short rest button, but the button with the actual die roll in it.
Yeah, it's the D20 in the corner.
Oh. Let's see
Nope.
here.
Like, okay, don't use that roll.
What's that? put 2d12.
Because I accidentally rolled for you, and you don't want that roll.
I don't. Then click the. What? Oh,
No. Or you could do that.
yay!
Nice.
That.
That also
Okay.
works.
So
Manually
that
do it.
was 11 and 12,
Plus
4.
4.
Woohoo!
So I get 1d8 plus.
7. I think that takes you back to full, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, it does. A good rest.
Automatically apply healing. So I get
glass of wine.
1d8 plus 1, right?
For each, you get 3 of those to use. You just have to decide how many
okay.
you want to use.
Okay. And then what do I hit to roll it?
Well, when you
Sorry.
click on the little box under where it says monk hit die 1d8 plus 1,
Yeah.
you click a box, you'll see where it says 1d8 plus 1 and a heart. If you click on that box.
Hit click on that box.
Yep.
Okay. 1d8 plus 1.
And then you can use as many hit dice as you want to use.
Okay. There we go.
6 back.
6 back. Okay.
Okay. Do you want to go for one more?
So it only pops up that roll button if I click on all 3 little boxes. Have I done it wrong?
Probably
If
not.
I click on 1 or 2, it doesn't bring anything up, but when I click on that 3rd box, it brings it up.
Oh, it might be because you've already used it thinks you've already used one hit die.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But you should have 3 today. So if you don't click the long rest button every long rest, sometimes it gets wonky with your hit dice.
Gotcha. Okay.
And technically you only get half your hit dice back on a long rest, but I think that's a dumb rule. So you get them all back.
Okay.
No, I want long rest to start the party off fresh for whatever I throw at you.
There we go.
I'm
We
funny
appreciate
that way.
that.
Okay, another 4 back.
Yeah, that's
That
good.
puts you in a decent spot.
I'm in a decent spot. We can't get into any serious trouble, but I'll be okay if we get into some small
Have
trouble.
you met the party?
No.
I mean, seriously, serious trouble is kind of like your middle name.
I mean, right now, like
Right
I can
now.
get into some reasonable amount of trouble right now, but if we could save the big trouble till tomorrow, that'd be ideal.
Okay. Over the course of the hour that you spend drinking, resting, tending wounds, sewing up clothes, Ireena will support the idea of heading for Vallaki for war safety. Ismark is unsure this is a great idea. He thinks that there needs to be a presence to lead the town still. And he doesn't feel wholly comfortable filling that role. And he kind of lobbies for Ireena to stay here in town and maybe to pick a new house to set up. They go back and forth for a few minutes before he finally relents and agrees that he will rent a room here at the inn and try to kind of keep some order as long as all of you can keep Ireena safe.
We can certainly try.
Excellent. Then after an hour of rest, give or take, you're able to set off on the road again.
Okay.
Coming out of Barovia, there is a road that leads up into the mountains and supposedly through a pass and down the far side, which will take you eventually to Vallaki. If you make decent time, you should reach it by nightfall. But that's assuming nothing else delays you along the way.
Could possibly go wrong.
Big assumption.
Let's speed walk past anything we see. Big steps, everybody.
Marching song to keep us focused and not
Marching
distracted.
song.
I'm a Barbie girl.
Oh my god.
No.
Hang on. Let me double check the map here and give you a better idea of how long they think it's going to take. Let's see. Each of those is... I kind of wish they would map things instead of giving me quarter miles, give me hours to walk.
There's a
That would be
conversion table
handy.
for that in the DMG somewhere.
I know. Well, typical pace is 15 minutes for a mile. So, let's see here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So every 4 of these is one of those. That's 15 minutes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 3, 4.
D&D only gives you
5, 2.
3 miles an hour if you're traveling at a normal pace. 4 miles an hour if
Yes.
you're going at a fast pace.
Okay, fair enough. Then we'll take it at a moderate pace. 1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 6, 2, 3, 7, 2, 3, 8, 2, 3, 9, 2, 3, 10, 2, 3, 12, 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15, 4 goes into 15, 4. About 4-hour walk. So yeah, mid-afternoon. Late afternoon, evenings, about time you should land.
So we have a little bit of wiggle room.
Yeah. As long
Okay.
as nothing terribly interesting happens on your walk.
We'll just ignore it if it does, and keep going.
We'll just ignore the wolves biting at our heels as we power walk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, put on some 80s step music and we'll just go.
This sounds like a good
1980s.
plan.
As you head out
Yeah.
of town, the road takes you to the to an old stone bridge that arcs up and over the river. The river is about 50 feet wide and moves briskly with crystal clear water. The kind of crystal clear you only see in the mountains, with that fresh snow melt that has a chance to trickle down through all of the rocks for miles and miles, becoming perfectly clean as it goes. It's a pretty good... It's further than you could jump, so it's a decent-sized river. But once you've crossed it, you get the sense that you are no longer in Kansas.
Again.
Again.
Were we ever in Kansas?
We're even more
Canvas.
we're even more
Were
no
we ever
longer in
in
Kansas than we
Kansas?
were
Yeah,
yesterday.
you come down the bridge and you're immediately into the tree line at the foothills of these mountains. Ireena will identify that is Mount Gakis straight ahead that you're going to start to approach and then bend past. It's one of the 2 big mountains that establishes this range. The road winds for a bit. And after coming through some trees, you can see up ahead, literally up the hill, a small clearing at a crossroads. Let me find it. It's this one. I like this one, by the way. An old wooden gallows creaks in a chill wind that blows down from the high ground to the west. A frayed length of rope dances from its beam. The well-worn road splits here, and a signpost opposite the gallows points off in 3 directions. Barovia Village to the east from whence you have come. Sayre Pool to the northwest. And Ravenloft/Vallaki to the southwest. The northwest fork slants down and disappears into the trees, while the other fork clings to an upward slope. Across from the gallows, a low wall crumbling in places partially encloses a small plot of graves shrouded in a light, dewy fog. I need all of you to do me a huge favor and roll me a wisdom save.
Yay! This is gonna go great.
Horrible. Yep. Mhm.
11.
Dave, I don't actually know.
8.
Dirty 20.
There it goes.
We're just waiting for Louise's. Dunk, there it goes. The die rolls across the table and comes up with that. As you approach the gallows, you can hear thunder in the distance and a flash of lightning from off to your side. And immediately all four of you smell a shock of that scent of decay. You shake your heads to clear it. And as Darlene looks up at the gallows, there's a body twisting in the wind from the rope. I'll tell you more about it after I've refreshed my water and we've enjoyed a short break. We'll see y'all back here in 5 minutes.
All right, sounds good.
Do we have playbills nearby?
Sure.
Playbills are made of paper, right? And that's
yeah.
made of wood. Can I use shillelagh with a playbill? Is this technically made of the same stuff I would need, right?
What pulp?
I'll allow it.
All right.
You're swinging again.
Oh man,
Wow,
this
this
guy.
guy's tough.
What's up with this guy?
He's
What? What? This doesn't happen. This doesn't happen. All right, we're going. Let's go.
Okay.
And followed by the smite. Come on, Timber. We got this.
I mean, if he doesn't go down now, I don't know.
And
but
he finally drops.
Yes.
And is out of the scrap. Gets to the guy in the...
I'm gonna go. Common, Mother Clucker, do you speak it? We need some information. I'm not sorry, by the way.
And that is that weird, sickly smell in the air.
Oh, God.
Something like rotting meat.
Ew.
As we're walking, I'm like starting to like shake it off, and I'm just gonna say under my breath, she's just mad her mom never wanted her home for holidays either.
Wow, that's some Gossip Girl shit. Like,
Wow.
Anybody else smell that?
it smells like salt.
Smells like
Not-
tea to me.
Not what I meant.
Right. If you didn't know that was one of our clips, that's going in there.
Oh, dearie me.
Oh no, that whole love interest thing. That's right. Oh, I forgot. I almost killed him.
Sorry.
The one that's between Chrysanthemum and her bottle.
Yes.
Yes. That's a dangerous place to be for many reasons.
I'm heading that way. I'll tackle
Oh,
her
she
ass
already
again.
has the potion. She already has the potion.
No, she just handed you the book. And as soon as your hands touched it, she let go and run.
She's not going to take the potion?
She's got bigger fish to fry. Like, gain her ass out of there. You shot her.
I'm trying to unshoot her to the best of my abilities.
It seemed like a good idea at the time.
Like, why am I legit have been screaming this entire time. So you know what? What is the health of everybody
You're also
right now?
full health. You want to like come
All right,
back and join
everyone's
the battle?
full health.
Like, no, we're not. The rest
All
of
right.
us are like highly injured. You're on the
Yeah, we're
outside,
all
full
hurting
health. You wanna,
pretty
like,
bad.
help
The
out a little
Jamboard
bit?
says that everybody's. Oh, refresh.
Refresh
Never mind.
that. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
Ember's alive because I just healed for 12. Show is at 12 out of 41.
You were
like
literally
farting
seeing
around
full
on the
health
outside of
this
the circle.
entire
like,
time,
"Come
weren't you,
join
Yansen?"
me. I'm full health. Y'all,
Shep
I'm having a
didn't
picnic
have a
over here.
spot on the jam of the thing, and I was just like, oh, I don't know.
I think we broke the. I feel like we should not be meddling. Anyway, if there's someone killing someone else, it might be for a good reason. You don't know.
Oh my.
That got dark. Wow.
We have killed lots of people.
For various and sometimes no good reason. Yeah, she's not wrong.
Where are you going?
So we left off, the party had approached an abandoned gallows and graveyard. The wind had kicked up. There had been flashes of lightning and thunder in the distance. And it is matched by Darling looking up at the scaffold and seeing a figure hanging from the noose. It twists slightly in the wind, and you can see that it's wearing a black cloak with a hood. Not a full face cover, just a hood that shrouds most of its face as it twists slightly in the wind.
She just stops and just stares. Like,
Darling, we don't have time for sightseeing right now.
Don't worry, no one's getting hanged today. Come on.
Someone's hanging right now.
When Agnes says that, the voice, "no one's getting hanged today," comes from the scaffold.
Oh.
At least as far as Darling is concerned.
Yeah, she's just staring like,
I'm going to pull her along away from it because we don't got time for this. Let's go.
she's just like getting pulled along, but also she's pointing at the body like this.
Well, here's the fun twist. Agnes, you reach for her, and she just takes a step out of your reach as she takes a step towards the gallows.
Oh.
And then you reach again, and this time she steps backwards. And every time you reach for her, she instinctively makes a move to be just out of your reach. Darling looks over her shoulder, and Agnes isn't there.
Agnes?
Could I hear that?
Yes,
Or
you
did
hear
she-
that.
Okay, good. I'm gonna take my, rapier cane thing and try and smack her. Not to do damage, just to get her attention.
Her attention.
Yeah.
Did I feel it?
No, you don't.
Or do you move?
You actually don't feel that tap. But you can see where the body hanging from the rope starts to reach its hand out towards you.
Oh no! Oh no! 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 She's like full freaking out. Like,
Can I try and slap her?
You can try.
Thank you. What do I have to make? Do I have to make an attack roll?
I'd like to see an unarmed attack roll.
Okie dokie. It'll probably do negative damage. You'll get healed from a slap.
it's like the healing booty tap.
That's not how it works. Okay. Yeah.
3.
Oh my god!
Yeah. She just sort of like reflexively, like as she's in panic mode, kind of throws you back. And Darlene watches as the hand that was reaching out from the gallows reaches up and pulls back the hood. And you can see Agnes hanging from the noose.
Oh.
Like fucking, she's like screaming her lungs out now. Agnes! Like, and then she starts like running toward the
gallows.
Yeah, that English. I am fluent. Yeah, she's gonna go darting towards the gallows.
She takes off at a run away from the rest of you. Ireena is going to look at the rest of you like, what are we doing?
I'm going to take off after her and call for her. Amelie, help me with this one.
I'll try and grab onto Darling.
She's a stride and a half ahead of you.
Okay, I'm faster. I'm pretty sure.
Cheers.
Boom.
Can I try and get in front of her?
Sure.
And like hold her?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I have no strength, but
you skid past her and go to brace yourself. A bolt of lightning flashes across the sky. And in that moment, all of you have another pause just from the sheer intensity of the light. And when Darling blinks out the brightness, there's just a bit of rope hanging there, swinging gently in the wind.
I got like both my arms on Darling's shoulders.
And Amelie is in your face.
What the heck are you doing?
Agnes!
I'm right behind you, you dolt.
You were hanging! She's just like pointing at the gallows.
And you're going mad.
I guess so.
Well, it is the place for that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Don't worry. I'll put in a good word for you in case they decide you need to be locked up.
I will lock myself up.
Oh, I sure hope not. You're the only company I can stand.
You're going to have to come visit me. If we get out of here.
What did you see?
There was a body, and then it was cloaked, and then it just started reaching out for me, and then when I called out for Agnes, it pulled up the hood, and it was Agnes.
I'm gonna look at
just a little mid-morning hallucination.
Mm-hmm. It's nice to know you want me dead.
I don't.
These things happen. We can discuss it while we walk.
I'm gonna just like.
I think I'm gonna put that away in the
Darling
sarcophagus
around.
of things never to talk about again, unless it's with a therapist.
What's a therapist? Wait, when did therapist
I was literally about to start Googling that.
Hey, Google.
Psychologist, psychiatric professional.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna say, I'm pretty sure I saw this in a BBC series.
Yeah, I think I did.
Vienna Blood comes to mind.
I think I did a high school project on like the first asylum.
It would be around 1920s was when behaviorism really started to kick in. So Freud is slightly ahead of that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, therapy would be a thing.
All of Agnes's boxes say "Do not open ever." All of Darling's boxes say "Only open in the presence of a therapist." To be unpacked in therapy.
Yeah, indeed.
You'll be unpacked in therapy.
I'm just gonna turn her by her shoulders and just kind of gently, let's keep going.
She's just in a daze now. She's just like,
There's
I hate
another
this place.
flash of lightning
She
that
twitches.
crosses the sky with a cackle. And then when your ears recover from the thunder, you hear the sounds of a lute.
Just me?
No, all five of
Okay.
you.
Okay.
All of us. Okay.
Everybody hears it.
Okay, am I hallucinating that?
No.
Okay.
Quite a
Hey,
shock
when
you
I
had
get
there.
suspiciously looted.
And you turn, and just off the road going down and away, there's a gentleman leaning up against a tree playing a lute.
This is a very strange place to hold a performance.
Oh, just watching to see who's traveling along. Always an interesting thing to be found at this crossroads. So it would seem, did it not?
Did you do that?
Oh gosh, no. No, but I have found that when travelers I don't know come this way, they find themselves leaving it with questions. Questions that Madame Eva is, so qualified to answer.
Who?
Madame Eva. The lady mistress in charge of our encampment just down this road. I would encourage
I
you
think
to
we'll
stop.
pass things.
Oh, but
If have watches been invented yet?
Yeah,
If I
watches
watch-
are a
We
thing.
gotta go. Okay.
Watches are a thing.
I miss an opportunity to know your fortune, your future.
Our fortune's gonna look pretty grim if we don't get where we're going by dark. Let's go.
And where are you going?
Not to your encampment.
Trying to think of a polite way to say none of your business.
None yet.
I'm afraid we cannot disclose.
Well, it would seem very strange to miss an opportunity like this. I mean, I suppose if you want to go wandering the lands of Lord Von Zarovich, the unspoken terror of the darkness, the dark evil that lurks in the night, the itch that can never be reached to scratch, without knowledge and foretelling, well, by all means, pring. Wander on aimlessly into the darkness, like a blind man wearing his hat far too low on a dark night with no moon. Bing, 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 bing.
We will, thank you. Amelie is not convinced. Amelie's like, nope, distractions, shortcuts.
Yeah,
we got it.
Might be worth
Following
investigating.
Amelie, I'm 100% with Amelie on this one. We're going.
I mean, it would
I
be
disagree.
a shame to not know why we saw what we saw at the crossroads so dark and dank.
I didn't see anything. So
I saw nothing
I'm okay.
either. Let's go.
We are wandering the woods based on a single signpost. If you have an encampment with knowledge, our concern is being left out alone at night.
Well, let us surmise a few things. First, you do not seem like you're about to try to find your way to lay siege to the castle itself. That would mean the most likely place you'd be traveling then is perhaps to the old bone grinder mill. Now, I don't imagine that's where you're headed because you all look a little too new. So, that leaves the next place on the road, the town of Verlaki, town known for its safe walls, which is, last checked, on a decent afternoon, bing, 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 4-hour walk. Now, a 1-hour detour, make it 2 to make it interesting, bling, would have you landing there in 6 hours from the current time being, call it 3 past noon, 7, or bling, sunset. Puts the guitar, the lute down next to him and kind of leans on it. And then he looks at Darling. I mean, do we really want to be traveling about with so many questions unanswered?
All those questions are for therapists.
I'm gonna turn to Amelie and say, I still would rather not delay, and if all the people in his encampment talk like him, I would rather shoot myself.
I'm not excited about the idea of any more delays, especially if it's gonna cut us that close.
Ireena will speak up. I've heard of Madame Eva before. It's said that she's rather gifted at telling the future.
I don't put any stock in fortune tellers.
Any stock in werewolves at all? That's what I thought. We need a good long stay at a mental hospital when we get back.
You don't want to go to a sanitarium, trust me. Maybe meeting this Madame Eva is a less expensive cure.
Yeah, fair. Not that Agnes doesn't pay me well.
Mm-hmm. All right, we better make it quick then.
All right, with that, lead on, good sir.
As you conclude your conversation, you notice that there's no one standing there.
What the fuck?
But you do hear the sounds of a lute and singing from down the road.
Who moves that fast? Who moves that fast? That's not.
Okay,
Luis
and with
is
that,
heading.
I would much rather not make that stop.
Luis is showing initiative and is headed down the road after the music.
Fair enough.
Right. Rather than split the party, Amelie will reluctantly follow.
Agnes will follow more reluctantly than that.
Ireena will put a hand on Darlene's shoulder to reassure her. It can be hard to be strong.
cue that song from Encanto.
Surface pressure.
I'm the strong one. I'm not nervous.
You make your way down the road. The road gradually disappears and is replaced by a twisted, muddy path through the trees. Deep ruts in the earth are evidence of the comings and goings of wagons. The canopy of mist and branches suddenly gives way to black clouds boiling far above. There is a clearing here next to a river that widens to form a small lake several hundred feet across. 5 colorful round tents, each 10 feet in diameter, are pitched outside a ring of 4 barrel-topped wagons. A much larger tent stands near the shore of the lake, its sagging form lit from within. Near this tent, 8 unbridled horses drink from the river. The bright sounds of a lute mix with those of a mournful accordion, as several people are singing near one of the bonfires.
As is wont in such situations, Luis will take the lead, wandering over with his usual performer's big grin.
Oh boy, here he goes again.
Ugh.
Good afternoon, gentlefolk. We have heard great things about the wonderful Madame Ava and wish to make her acquaintance if such thing is possible.
And one of those, oh, well, the guy with someone goes, welcome. How did you find our encampment?
A little lute told us.
Oh, well, welcome. You came seeking Madame Eva directly. What a strange thing for this morning as we were having our first meal. She put out word from her tent that she was expecting guests today.
What a coincidence.
Fascinating. Yes, it's just over there. He points at the tent that's sitting by itself away from the rest.
The big one?
Mm-hmm.
All right, to the big top.
Yeah, you can head. Is everyone heading over there, I presume, or does anyone want to talk to the other dancers and musicians?
Oh.
Absolutely not.
Agnes is not feeling social.
Agnes wants out of here as soon as possible. She's not a fan of this detour.
I'm just gonna keep scanning the area for anything that looks out of place or possibly threatening.
Everything looks out of place.
Well, okay,
Everything
but
looks threatening.
Okay.
Can I see
properly on edge?
Can I make a check to see how flammable these tents are?
Oh my god.
Oh gosh.
So the minute Agnes takes a level of wizard, we are all in trouble.
She has to take at least 3 levels to be dangerous.
It's a mental
Really
exercise. She's calculating how quickly this will burn down and how quickly she can outrun the flame. Rather than actually set fire, she's just going to do math.
That's my mission now as the DM. I want to see at some point if I can convince June that it makes sense for Agnes to pick up a level of wizard. Not warlock, not sorcerer, wizard.
Wizard.
You have to take at least 2 or 3 levels to make it worth it, but
the first one gets
There's a
cantrips.
clockwork
wizard.
wizard.
That's true.
There's the clockwork wizard that might work.
You make your way over towards the tent. And the first thing that catches you is you can smell the incense and the clove from within. You push back the flap to look inside, and the tent looks significantly larger on the inside than it did on the outside.
TARDIS.
Something like that. We're skipping that. Or are we?
Or are we?
Oh,
That's a
yeah,
good
we're
question.
skipping that. That's lame. And that's where you can see as Rob takes his Sharpie mark and goes, yeah, we're not doing any of that part of the module. There you go. Magic flames cast a reddish glow over the interior of this tent, revealing a low table covered in a black velvet cloth. Glints of light seem to flash from a crystal ball as a hunched figure peers into its depths. As the crones speak, her voice crackles like dry weeds. At last you have arrived. Cackling laughter bursts like mad lightning from her withered lips. Sit, please. Please come be my guests.
Well, Luis is all in. He just goes and grabs a seat.
Of course he is.
There are several stools and cushions set around her table.
I'm gonna come in, but I'm gonna stand like inside, but closer to the opening. I'm gonna stand closer to the opening.
Okay.
Agnes isn't even gonna enter. She's gonna stand on the outside. She's not dealing with this.
Gonna pick up Agnes and.
Bold of you.
He's inside.
Bold of you.
As Darling pulls Agnes through the tent flap flips down and closes behind you. Those of you willing to come forward and take a seat, and Ireena will take a seat next to Luis, can get in so that you can see what's happening. So travelers have come to explore. Tell me, why are you here?
We're in a plane crash.
Ah, the great rock fell from the sky.
What?
Well, it was a plane, but we crashed into a rock.
Also, these ones decided they wanted to follow a man with a lute.
It was a very nice lute.
A lute is such a strange instrument nowadays.
Oh, there's so much beautiful sound to it. So many great tales and musics are made by those in my encampment. You should stay and enjoy them with us.
We do have an appointment elsewhere.
Oh,
but
yes.
We were told it was worth our time to get our fortunes read by the great Madame Eva.
Oh, yes. Come closer. We need all of you for this. We don't want anyone left out.
I make my own fortune, thank you.
Oh, yes, indeed, you have. Flips up she starts to shuffle through a deck of cards and she pulls one out. Quite right that young lady deserved to have her fortune made for her at your fists. That one Christmas morning when someone got a little out of line.
Oh, all right. Just jumping right into it.
As she says that, she gestures to a chair. Like, you sure you don't want to sit?
She said, "Bitch, you better not." Sorry.
I'm gonna come up towards the chair that she gestured to, and I'm just gonna stand right behind it, like with my hands resting on the back of it.
Your response to authority hasn't changed much in the last few years, has it?
Damn,
Always
she's
not much.
Just whole calling you out. No remorse.
At that moment, Agnes is probably thinking it's time to head out. This is not working. And she turns down to look for the tent flap to go back out. And the tent is solid canvas all the way around.
She's gonna take out her dagger.
All right. Calm down.
She's gonna try and cut an opening.
Oh my god.
Like, I'm not staying in a tent with a stupid medium.
It's one of those weird things. The dagger just can't seem to catch in the canvas. It's like pushing a butter knife against silk. It's weird. Madame Eva will look at everyone else. Fortunes you wish told. The adventure you're on, your hope to escape the valley. Is that what has brought you to the great Madame Eva, teller of fortunes and seer of futures?
Going home or continuing our trip to Egypt is our eventual goal.
That would be why one is so desperate to leave.
I'm gonna try and like rip it open, seeing as the dagger's not working. I'm gonna try and rip it open.
You pull the canvas open, and you actually get some fingers into it tears, and you're looking at another solid layer of canvas.
He's not adapting well to the
No, it's really not.
more esoteric experiences of life.
Sweet karma, question mark? I don't know if that's like the karma that I want her to have, but you know.
I feel like Darling is unnerved, but also just kind of satisfied and enjoying this just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, Agnes is gonna go up to the table, place her dagger down because she's not gonna ruin this nice velvet. And be like, I don't know what you have told your troop to do, but tell them to remove the canvas that's around this tent so we can leave, please. Thank you very much.
I have no control over that which you speak. The flap is right there. And she gestures, and as you look over your shoulder, there's the half-open exit to the tent. Perhaps there's something else keeping you here, my dear. Something that just doesn't process right. Those decades of study, sitting under the tutelage of Master Bracegirdle and his pounding away at the dates of the Spanish Inquisition. Just, you need that, don't you? That rigor, that strictness, and something doesn't sit right.
I don't care what you think you know about my life, but you are not keeping me in some ratty old tent to be subject to your whims. You rotten, lying prayer on those who seek comfort. And she's going to pick up her dagger and try and leave the tent again.
And she storms. You are free to storm right out.
Great, I'm gone.
And it storms out into the thunderous downpour.
She's going to stand in the downpour. Nope. She would rather catch a cold than be stuck in there. Wash away the smell of that incense.
Meanwhile, how's Darling doing?
I'm sorry about her.
From where can I shift where I'm standing just a little bit so I can like have an eye line to Agnes outside?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
So I'm gonna keep like one eye on her while things proceed.
She starts to lay out the cards. Her spirit has been with us. She can stand in the cold if she needs. Now let's speak of you and what has you traveling. What might we find? And she begins to flip the cards around. And she pulls up one card and lays it down. And it's a major arcana that shows a book laid out on a pedestal with a bright sun behind it. Oh, knowledge. Useful weapon in all fights I have found. She pulls out another card and sets it down. Oh dear. The necromancer. The 8 of stars. I see in this a woman above a roaring fire. You will find your knowledge there. And she looks at it and goes, wait, no, the energy is wrong. She pulls out another card and looks at it. Indeed, it's been taken, stolen by a girl in a woman's form. Sets it down. She goes to draw another card, puts it down. This one shows a black bird alighting on a stack of 5 coins. An item of holy power. Let's see what else we have to know of this artifact. She pulls out a card to lay across the top of it, and it shows a tree from which coins are hanging. Oh dear. Dear, 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 dear. An evil tree grows atop a hill of graves where the ancient dead sleep. Now, the ravens may help you find it, but under this tree of death, you will find a treasure. She goes to the next card, looks at it, goes, oh, the one of swords, the one blade itself. Pulls a card to set atop it. The 9 of stars. This card shows me a dead village, drowned by the river itself, ruled by one who has brought great evil into this world. I think she keeps it as leverage, that wily crone. She goes to the next card and sets it down. And in that card, you can see the artwork shows a knight in full battle regalia. Massive plume on the helm, huge pauldron at his shoulder. Ribbons decorating one shoulder. Opposite. Assistance in battle. Warrior. You should seek this individual. They will help you. She pulls out a card and sets it on top of it. Oh. And in it you see two children, one a little taller than the other, playing with staves. I see a child. No, a woman. She crosses from one to the next while we watch. But her new life may be snuffed before it begins, drowned by the devil's hand. Haste and insight will be your weapons. This night may ride into the sunset before you even reach her. And now the question, the truth, the darkness that you are seeking. She pulls out a card and sets it down, and it's just a straight black card with no artwork, nothing. That darkness can always be found in but one place. And she sets a card down on top of it. And in it, it shows a hanged man. And around it, everyone of onlookers mourning. And under the caption underneath it reads the word innocence. The darkness will always be found in the tomb of the man he envied. I wish you well, my friends. But I would not linger here long, for your assistance is needed most haste if you were to find that warrior companion. You should be on your way. On your way before he knows what comes for him. For perhaps his time is finally nigh. Or perhaps yours is. And as she chants this, the incense burners around her table begin to flare and fill the tent with smoke. And when the smoke clears, the 4 of you are standing, somewhat pelted by a light rain, in the middle of an empty clearing.
Where's Agnes?
Right there.
Okay.
Well, that was colorful. Did we learn anything useful?
I don't know. My head hurts.
I would rather not stay here another second. Let's go. She's going to grab Darling, and then we're just going to book it towards the bed.
I'm going to match pace with Luis and just kind of under my breath pick up anything interesting.
Prophecy is not my area of expertise, but he's literally taking notes in like a tattered journal that does not appear to be affected by the rain as he's like scribbling something down. But that was either nothing, but she didn't charge us anything, so we've lost naught. Or
Not
she
but our
may
time.
have just given us time is a resource we had to burn. And this might be the keys out of this crazy kingdom. Time will tell.
Well, let's hope
And
we
he
don't
finishes,
regret the
like-
time spent.
Hastily writing down as much as he can remember of what she said. And then he rolls this tattered thing up and puts it back in the pouch where he always carries it.
I'm gonna take note of take a pointed look at the book that's not being affected by the rain, and look at him and just not say anything.
Okay. Anything else of interesting note as you make your way out of the clearing and back onto the road?
I mean, I'll look for, as we're walking out, I'll glance around and look for any evidence of camp or other people. I'm guessing I find none.
As near as you can tell, no one has been in this clearing for at least a week.
Yeah.
Ireena seems a little bit shaken by the whole thing herself. It was not what she expected either.
I'll just put a hand on Ireena's shoulder as I come up behind her, alongside her.
Do you have a sense of what we're looking for now?
I don't have a sense of it. I don't have any more of a sense than I did when we got here. But magic is really not something that I'm used to considering.
I'm not sure that was magic so much as confusing prophecy.
I guess
the
we'll find
confusing
out.
parts for sure. The prophecy remains to be seen.
I don't understand what she meant by a knight. I mean, there's the Order of the Silver Dragon that, according to stories, used to take up residence in the valley before Strahd took it over for himself. But they've been long dead.
What did they used to do?
It was a knightly order. Peace, tranquility, order, law. Knight stuff.
But they're all gone?
Decades, if not longer. They were the last to fight against Strahd before he claimed this valley for his own.
Had we asked before how long Strahd has been in power? I don't remember if we've asked that before.
No one truly remembers a time before the Von Zaroviches controlled the valley. Strahd in particular. It's my entire lifetime at the very least.
Are there other Von Zaroviches?
No, it's always been the Strahd Von Zarovich, the land, the ancient. They say he doesn't age.
Well, he'd have to age very slowly, at least, I suppose.
You make your way up the road and around a few more bends and start to make your head up into the mountains themselves. The storm is starting to pass, giving you a clear walk for a while. And you start to make pretty good time along the road. Eventually, you start to hear the sounds of a roar of a waterfall. And you come to a bridge. You follow the dirt road as it clings to the side of a mountain and ends before an arching bridge of mold-encrusted stone that spans a natural chasm. Gargoyles cloaked in black moss perch on the corners of the bridge, their frowns weather-worn. On the monstrous side of the bridge, mountainous side of the bridge, a waterfall spills into a misty pool nearly 1,000 feet below. The pool feeds a river that meanders into the fog-shrouded pines that blanket the valley.
Does the bridge look sturdy?
It
Beat me to it.
It is that same cobblestone brick with a slight arch to it. That is same construction that you crossed earlier. Style of construction. Now, aside from, so at this
Like that
glance,
doesn't quite answer the question.
Yeah,
but
you're
okay.
just yeah.
yeah, it's still standing, and it looks
It's
ancient.
there.
So maybe.
Like to roll structural engineering.
Did you take proficiency in it though?
You know, I knew I was forgetting something.
Yeah. See. Now,
Yeah. Do we have any dwarves?
That's when you.
Use your stone sense.
I'm gonna kind of hold my hand out, like come in front of the group and hold my hand out, and I'll move forward like slowly and kind of like test the bridge cautiously.
Give me a perception check.
Okay.
As you approach.
Do we want to try the rope thing again?
19.
Oh, cool. As you start to approach, you're positive that the gargoyle's eyes are following you.
Oh.
Except
Oh, bunch of no.
when you reach the bridge, you realize that their eyes are carved inwards as opposed to outwards, which creates the illusion that they are following you.
Uh-huh. That's totally an illusion.
No, like you look and the eye sockets, it's a bulging out with an eye. They go inwards.
Mm.
Like you can see
Okay.
the dent where the eye would be to create that illusion.
Okay.
So that's a 19. If you be, my brain said 10 to 17, you're sure the eyes are following you. Anything higher than
Okay.
the 18 and higher, you know it's just a trick of the light.
So they're not. Okay.
They're not,
Okay.
but it made you stop.
It's a pause.
It's a pause.
Okay. Then realizing that they're not actually following me, I'm going to start like testing the bridge in a sort of strategic manner.
Okay.
Testing my weight, poking it with my parasol, etc.
Jumping up and down.
Yeah.
Tempting fate. Yeah.
Looking for things to grab onto in case.
In case the bridge itself crumbles out from underneath you. I'm curious. Arwen, just work with me here. What would you grab onto if the bridge that you were on crumbled away? Like, what are you looking for to grab onto besides the bridge that would have been crumbling out from under you?
I'd look for okay, let me think about that for a second.
What's the handle situation?
What's around the bridge? Like, is there like
there's cliffs,
or it's like
waterfall,
a suspension bridge?
No, it's a stone arch with a waterfall and a drop.
Okay.
There's really nothing to grab onto. It's just a bridge.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I was like things that I could like if the whole bridge collapsed at once, that would be a problem. But if like a stone here or there fell out, a chunk, like Mines of Moria style, if a chunk fell out, could I grab onto?
That's fair. Okay.
I'm looking for things that are sticking out that I mean, if the whole bridge falls, that's
bad.
Gonna be bad, but.
Okay.
I have a question. How wide is the bridge? Like, what's the length
It's
of
about
it?
50 feet across.
50 feet. Okay, thank you.
You can do that.
Yeah.
All right. You start to make your. Amelie starts to make her way across, checking each step. It's slick, but it's not so bad that you're at risk of losing your feet. And after a few minutes, you're able to get all the way across.
No one twisted an ankle?
Okay. Do we want to try and run a rope across, or do you guys want to just walk it?
On the bridge, I mean, I think there's a level of paranoia that might be. I'm just going to start walking across the bridge.
Okay. I'm just thinking back to the Widow's Walk, and disastrous that almost was.
Hmm.
So,
This is a big old stone bridge. Totally different scenario.
all right. I'm going to turn around and just be like, seems fine.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
One at a time, single file.
Luis is Gavrov's on the bridge. What you guys do is kind of up to you.
I'm gonna go after
Yeah.
Luis.
Oh, sure. Leave the traumatized one in the back. I'll follow after Agnes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We have once again forgotten Ireena.
Ireena, I was going to say, Ireena will cross probably right behind Luis. With a certain amount of, like, it can't be that bad. It's a bridge.
Right. What could go wrong?
Yeah. If it was going to randomly drop out from underneath someone walking across it, it would have dropped out centuries ago.
Maybe. Or maybe it was just waiting for somebody to walk across it.
Yeah, or maybe we're the person that broke the bridge's back.
Wow.
Is that how that works?
Yeah.
The straw. But yeah.
5 straws on the 5 straws that broke the bridge's back.
Only takes one.
5 bodies that broke the bridge's back.
How does the bridge's curve compare to a camel's hump?
It's not that steep.
Mm-hmm. Camel's humpier.
Okay, so as you start to make your way, you continue down the road where it kind of hugs against the cliff face. And after a bit more of walking, it eventually opens. You come to another crossroads. One road passes between 2 massive stone columns carved into the cliff faces. And the other turns up towards what looks like even higher up the hill, just jutting out a bit from the mountain itself, a castle. You can just through the mist and the fog make out its outline. And it seems tiny at this distance.
But it's far. Ish.
And up. A bit more, quite a bit more upward climbing to get to it.
I think we want to go
That's
away from the castle.
Not where we want to go, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ireena will confirm that Vlaki is the to the west down this slope.
To the west we go.
Hi ho, hi ho, it's to the west we go.
Tromp, tromp, tromp.
A child, I'm guarding a child.
You make your way through the pass, and you find yourselves again in a forest. The forest eventually begins to thin after about another mile or so of walking, and before you can see a valley. You're looking out over the pine trees that layer the base of it. You can see a lake in the distance that's fed by all these rivers that flow down the far mountain wall that makes up the other side of the valley. The lake itself is this crystal clear blue that catches little bits of what light passes through the clouds. And you can still see a layer of mist that clings to it despite the late hour. Down the road a bit, you can also make out where there's a split and an old windmill stands. Its blades creaking left to right. Not spinning all the way about, but still with just a bit of play left in them. It otherwise looks abandoned. On the
I'm
lake,
going to keep a particular eye on the windmill as we walk past.
You know, if this place wasn't so frustrating, it would be a nice place for a vacation home. I mean, look at that lake.
It's lovely.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not looking anywhere anymore.
Eyes on
Just
the road.
ahead.
On the road below you.
oh, what do you mean?
Distrust.
It's pretty around here. Too pretty.
Yeah. Make a great place for a vacation home that isn't one that's dilapidated.
You can make out in the distance, you can see someone rowing out into the lake. It looks like he's setting up to fish.
Oh, and there's fish in the lake. That's lovely.
You come down towards the windmill. It's about a couple 100 yards off the road. Are you going to investigate it or continuing on the road?
Continue on the road.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just keeping an eye on it in case anything jumps out of it.
In case it like sprouts legs and charges towards you?
Yes, that.
Yeah, we're not looking to stay at Baba Yaga's windmill.
How quaint that you assume that she has a windmill in this universe.
Yeah, why not? You know? It's her vacation home.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, was that too evil of a DM laugh?
No.
Good.
You can do better.
Just the right amount.
Oh, man.
Oh,
jeez.
Oh,
I know you. You can do a better DM laugh than that.
Wow, someone's getting sassy.
Yeah, you're gonna suffer now.
I'm saying
DM laugh tonight.
He's gonna target you specifically now. As if
he hasn't already.
I was gonna say, as if he didn't already.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm his favorite to pick on. Because he just wants to see how far he can break Agnes's brain.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
As you pass the windmill, you're coming down, you're about to sink down, walk down below the tree line. You can see the fishermen rowing out. Let's see. The good news is Darlene's too focused on what she's doing. So I need, I need Louise, Amelie, and Agnes to roll me a perception check.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, me
One of my
focusing on
better skills
other things is the good
negative
news?
one.
Sure.
Confused.
18.
Worried.
7.
And 2. Okay. 2. I see 2 things. 1, 2.
Sky and ground.
Okay.
A man and a boat.
Yep. Amelie is fairly sure that he's struggling with something in the boat. And you catch a glimpse at this. It's hard to see at this angle, but it looks like a large sack about 5 feet long.
Oh.
That's wiggling.
I'm
and then
gonna.
you watch as he just like picks up one of the oars and slams it down on the sack, and the sack goes still.
Whoever is like closest to me, I'm gonna thump them and point. He's got somebody in that boat or something alive.
And then he settles back in, and he
In a
sets the
bag.
oar and starts to row out more into the water.
Who is the one that's closest to her?
Yeah, who are you
Ireena?
grabbing?
I think Ireena might be the closest.
Well, you're still like up there. I mean, you guys still have probably about 2 miles to go before you get there, unless you start to really pick up the pace. Or
I'll pick up.
go straight through the woods and down the hill.
So, yeah, who you telling what you thinking?
Well, I said it out loud. I was just like, I said it, I would have said it out loud so everybody could hear. I just would have like flung my arm out against whoever was nearby. But I pointed and I said, he's got somebody in a bag. He just thumped. Yeah. I said it out loud so everybody could hear. He had a bag that was moving and he just thumped it on the head with his oar.
Could have just been a big fish that he caught earlier.
Bruce pulls out his tattered scroll. Woman who crosses from one to the next, her new life may be snuffed, drowned by the devil's hand.
What?
Rolls the scroll back up and takes off running into the woods.
What? What happened? What?
I think
Darling's
he's
so
lost his
confused.
mind. I think he's lost his mind.
Well, that's good.
he's
Then I'm not the only
he's
one.
talking about the words that Madame Eva said, and I'll take off after him.
Oh,
Are
damn
they
it.
actually taking the advice of some mad
No
but I
time.
don't- no,
No
but if there's
time.
anything-
Scoops
if
up.
there's anything in the woods, I don't want him by himself.
No time. Scoops up Agnes like a bag of yams and starts running after them.
Ireena's like already gone. As soon as she saw Amelie step off, she's like, okay. And she puts one hand to like hike her blade against her hip and charges down the tree line after her.
I've got Agnes over my shoulder.
We'll have to find out though what happens when you get down to the water next time.
Yay!
I need like I need art of this shit we get into. I swear to God.
It's just you carrying Agnes around, who is
like a bag of yams.
I'm just a bag of yams at this point. You can replace me with a bag of yams. It'll be the same thing.
A bag of yams doesn't stab nearly so well, though.
It's got some good bludgeoning damage, though.
So proud of her as well.
So funny aside, my D&D Beyond is like on a lag, so it pops up rolls at the most random times. And when we were in Madame Eva's tent and Rob gave her first line and that first cackle, it popped up the notification, Agnes rolls +8 to her attack with her dagger or with her rapier. It's like, I'm just picturing her go, nope.
I mean, that's one way to get rid of a soothsayer. It's one way to deal with the problem.
Probably a pretty effective one, too.
That's an effective way of dealing with the problem.
That's a pretty old roll, too.
I'm laughing.
That was like 2 hours ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, yeah, it took, I don't know, it pops up rolls it sometimes when I just open the window or sometimes when I click on the page, it's like, somebody rolled. I'm like, yeah, that was forever ago, but okay.
So, I think tonight we're going to skip the after party because we're running a little bit later than we usually do. And I know for me, I'm already pushing my envelope for how late I can stay up. But we are going to find a place to send everyone who's hanging out with us tonight. We appreciate having you all here and being part of our game. Do you want to do around the table as to who we are, who we were, and a star moment on the evening?
Sure.
Yeah.
And we'll pick it up. We'll start with let's start with Kaidapon tonight. We'll do a funny zigzag.
Okay. Hello, my name is Kaidapon. I was playing the overly terrorized darling Odessa, the supposed bodyguard of the group, but now she's just going to be a terrorized ball of in the corner. Yeah. I guess the star moment for me is just obviously the one time I'm the one targeted with the hallucination and no one else sees it, and I'm just like, fuck! Close second though, the creepy lady with the pies. That reminds me of the stepmom from Snow White. Delicious pie. No. No. Just no. No thanks.
Fair enough.
No
Fair enough.
Medusa.
OuterDork.
All right. I am OuterDork, playing Louise Harbrook, the magician warlock who seems to like dragging the party into questionable mythical events. And my highlight of the evening was definitely watching poor Agnes frantically try and leave the tent that he's dragged her into, essentially against her will, while he's trying to get everybody's fortunes read.
And then, she was here long enough. We don't need her anyway.
Yeah, we got her spirit trapped. It'll be fine.
I did not consent.
Foolish of you to think you had a choice.
I will cut a choice.
I think that takes us over to June.
I'm June. I played Agnes. You can find me nowhere. My star moment of tonight was definitely actually Arwen jumping up onto the roof of the church and throwing stabby stabs at a wolf. Sorry, a werewolf. We got to be different because we fought actual wolves earlier. But yeah, that was pretty cool. Very monkey.
Chilling.
Very monkey.
Which you still haven't sat down and actually decompressed on yet.
Yeah, no. Why decompress when you can put it in a sarcophagus?
I mean, we've kind of been on a timetable. We can talk when we get there.
We gotta go.
One crisis after another.
Yeah.
And last but not least, Arwen.
Hi, I'm Arwen Atreides. You can find me on Instagram, in the cast link down there. I think my star of the night was encountering not one but two creepy ladies, old ladies with very similar vibes, but also like very different voices, very different. You know, they're both creepy old ladies, but they managed to be distinct from each other. That was fun.
I usually get a session break between introducing the Pie Lady and Madame Eva. So I had to adjust on the fly for that.
I'm really curious about that pie. I feel like we either missed like an amazing boost or disaster.
Well, we got wine out of it, so it's
we
fine.
got wine. Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy with the choice we made. But there's always that.
Fair enough.
What if that pie was really good?
You'll have to go back to town and find another one.
I'm okay.
And also, what's inside the church?
A dying man. We didn't feed him.
We could have gone back and given him the pie.
He could be the test dummy.
Yeah, we gotta give. Yeah, let's come back to town, get a pie, and give it to the sad man.
But it's not a gift pie though. What if that gift pie was special? Yeah.
Why was she just walking around with a random gift pie?
You heard what she said. You never know when you could be useful to someone. Maybe that was the one cursed pie. It was the one.
Then we dodged a bullet with the one cursed pie.
Cut a pie-shaped hole in the window, shove it through, and just like see what happens.
Leave the pie on the windowsill.
Oh my god.
My name is Rob, aka Lantern Noir. My star for the night was I'm gonna give it to Andy with the thank you for dragging the party to see Madame Eva. Because there was a little part like, oh, they could skip it, but God, there's really good hints about what's going on if they go talk to her. And my brain was starting to do the okay, they're gonna skip her. Oh, Andy's there. Okay, good. He's dragging them. Sweet.
Luis is all about that arcane stuff. There's a fortune teller in this crazy, messed up world. I'm going. This is going to be super useful, or we're all going to die. But probably the former.
Or possibly the latter.
Didn't all die. That's the key.
And it's already
Not
paid
yet.
off, because clearly this prophecy is going to lead to something wonderful when he dives into the water and remembers he doesn't know how to swim.
Oh.
On that note, we're going to keep the creepy vibes going. We are going to raid into a friend of mine whose Twitch handle is Turian's Gone Wild. She is a huge Mass Effect fan, obviously. Right now she's in a just chatting mode right now, but she's going to be playing Silent Hill tonight. So I feel like if you're having fun with the creepy vibes, we're gonna keep it rolling. I will be back tomorrow at 5:00 Eastern time, because that would be happy hour, and I'm gonna belly up to the bar with my buddy Graybeard of Graybeard's Tavern, and we are going to be talking D&D and doing our weekly podcast. And then Wednesday night, I'm back for D&D with the Convergence, and we might be at the season finale. It's a little crazy. I sat down, looked at my notes, and went, holy crap! I think we're at the finale. This is gonna get crazy. So we'll see. It's really up to the party. They kind of are going to decide whether they take the bait and go for the finale, or if they're going to get distracted with a side quest.
It's always gets distracted with side quests.
Yeah,
Side quests are fun.
It's like Skyrim that way. You know, it's like, here, look, go be Dragonborn. Oh, wait, no, you're collecting rat tails.
Rat tails are so nice.
Okay,
they make great bracelets.
Isn't that a side quest in Assassin's
I
Creed?
have
You get,
questions.
like 100 feathers.
On
Have you
that
ever
note,
held a rat?
we're going to see y'all next time. We are back next Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time on the Sunday evening. Until then, folks, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, don't eat the pies and try to stay safe.
Thanks for that.